You've got the In Will Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk about circle track racing with play-by-play guru Rodney Rodriguez, live from the Hill Country. Jeff will bring us.
Jeff,
let's start over. Hey, welcome to In Wheel Time on this Saturday morning. It's a gorgeous day outside. We got Rodney Rodriguez coming up. He's going to talk about some racing, and then we're going to get into Don stuff.
And that pretty much about does it. So I'm going to step back, turn my microphone off, and let the boys handle it from here. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, we always need Jeff Zekin, Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I am nobody, and glad that you could join us, Mr. Nobody. Joining us, however, right now, from the Hill Country of Central Texas, here he is, Rodney Rodriguez. I assume that you are at home.
I am at home. I am at home on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. So do you have an event tonight?
I do not have something tonight. I have to set up for something tomorrow. So I actually do have to work a little bit, but I don't actually go into action till Sunday.
Ooh, action Jackson.
He's getting into action.
Yeah.
All right.
And guess what it is? I have to go do some marketing at a soccer game, guys.
Ooh.
Boston
Shoot
FC.
me.
Football.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you just go ahead and do that. And I'm going to take a nap on the couch.
I'm thrilled.
I know you are. And so let's talk about circle track racing. Has it started anywhere yet?
It has. The most local short tracks around the regions. It's so weird, guys, where it used to be you had a real finite time with short track racing on the ovals where it went from April usually up until about Labor Day. Then it kind of stopped. But now it just takes a little bit of a break in December, and you've had dirt tracks and asphalt tracks around the country that have been having events since January. And as a matter of fact, Houston Motorsports Park, the oval track, fires off tonight, night number 1. So they get rolling. It's nonstop, and there's big money races. The big money races used to be at the end of the year. Now the big money races are all year, and people just migrate. It's like a cult to go do these oval track races.
Mm-hmm. How fun, though.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have a good time doing it?
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because you get to meet. The cool thing about it is that you see a lot of the people from different regions going to different places. So that's the real cool part for me, where I go to a different region and I run into somebody that like lives in my own backyard and I had no idea. And
they're 13 years old.
Yeah, yes, and at the top of their game.
When I did the infield reporting for you several years ago over at Houston Motorsports Park, I was shocked with that little boy. I mean, the boy was 13 years old. He didn't even have a driver's license yet, and yet he kicked everybody's butt out there in the 3/8 mile asphalt track.
Up on him.
Yeah, and it was enlightening. It's so much fun to talk to him.
It's gotten to where now you see that so much to where it is the young, and now it's not just guys, it's the young ladies also that are starting so young and quarter midgets, and before you know it, they're in a race truck or a dirt track late model or something like that, and they're just climbing up the ladder so quick. And I feel bad for so many of the more veteran, as I like
listen
to say.
The elderly.
He's trying to be nice, fellas.
The elderly in their 30s. The ones in their 30s where they just don't get the opportunities, because these young kids are coming in and usually have, parents with a lot of money, and they're able to gobble up and get the big rides.
I saw you actually did a couple of races last year yourself.
I did, and it's very much usually I'm like the rodeo clown. It's like when they have an event that they just need somebody to talk about. They're like, let's offer him a ride because he'll talk about it.
And then you got beat by the 13-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah, I got beat by the 13-year-old. I mean, I wasn't even close to that guy. He went by me like I was sitting still.
Do you still have a car?
I do. Yeah, I do. I have a dwarf car. I have a dwarf car now.
Oh, cool.
Think I might turn that into some kind of. Here I am again. Here we are talking about stuff that's stored that we're never going to use. And me saying, I might turn it into a show car.
How about turning it into a street car?
That would be pretty cool.
That would be very cool. And I understand that there are actual kits that you can buy that have the headlights, the brake lights, all the things that you need to put it on the street. I think that would be an absolute blast. Can you imagine pulling up to the stoplight and hey, you got some, Corvette or some other hot rod car next to you at the stoplight?
The only bad thing about that car is it's so small. I mean, it's tiny. So it's one thing you're confined. And I may have put on a pound or two, since I drove last. Maybe. But you're so low to the ground and it's so little. I think it'd be pretty intimidating, with people around you. And people are paying the most attention when they drive out in their daily driver. They're on top of things. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be a little scary.
You'd have to put those bicycle flags on it so everybody could see you.
That's 6-foot flags like you go down to the beach and see.
Remember that movie? You remember in the movie Grease where the dude had the things on the side of the car that cut the tires off of Danny Zuko's?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. The cutters.
Get too close, I cut the tires down.
Yeah, the chariot spinners.
You see those all the time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's talk about short track racing in Texas. Of course, as you mentioned tonight, Houston Motorsports Park, and what classes do they run out there now?
Tonight you'll have the usual what you've seen with modifieds and trucks, and there's trying to get a steel-bodied stock car class going once again. But what's really thriving out there, and this is actually happening at other tracks around the country also, and then a lot of it is cost and just affordability and just ease of doing this. Is I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Legends cars, kind of like the dwarf car, the little coupes. There's a group there in the Houston area called Texas Independent Racing, led by Jamie Call and a couple of other folks. They actually have a fleet of those. And that class, which was pretty much extinct here in Texas a few years back, has blossomed, and they're probably going to be pushing about 20 cars per night.
Wow.
So you'll see a lot of Legends, and then the Legacy cars, which, Don, those were those fiberglass bodied, kind of looked like a cup car, but it's the smaller car.
Yep.
Very, when they go around the track, those have just grown. And this year, back to our point about young kids, the Bandoleros are coming back, which that's a little bitty race car. Bigger than a quarter midget, but the Bandoleros have come back. It's a sanctioned class, so I think we call them the little cars in this game, where it's like the little cars. The little cars are taking over because modifieds, trucks, all of those, they've just gotten ridiculously expensive. And
that's it. That's exactly it.
So the cars that you're talking about, these cars have basically sealed engines. Am I correct? Where, it's a stock box engine, and there are some things that you can do with it, but not very much. And it's basically handling and driver that really dictates who's going to get to the lead on the pack.
It is both with the Bandoleros also, but more with the Legends and the Legacies that I'm talking about. What they do is with that engine, it's a very strict engine program. You can't get in, you can't do different things, you can't start milling heads down, and you can't change pistons and this, that, and the other. But what both of those cars do afford, to your point about the driver part, is when it comes to suspension, when it comes to everything on the four corners of the race car and underneath and so forth, it is a full-blown race car, just with smaller parts. So you can go in, you can work on setup, you can change camber, caster, rear end gears. You can do all of that, but it really puts it more in the driver's hand. And those classes right there, when it comes to parts and parts changes, is they're more governed when it comes to price. Like on a big car. Yeah, on a big car, if you want to go out and buy a set of shocks, it's pretty much a free market. You go out and you find the best that you can, and you're going to pay the most. It's very contained when it comes to price, and the product on the track is exceptional. You've got nose to tail racing the entire time.
Rodney, you talked about it a couple of times. You just mentioned the price, the cost, driving up the cost. What does it cost to get into these classes? Anything from the Legends to the step up from that and the step up from that. What are the average dollar amounts a team or a owner or a family's got to lay out?
On the pavement side, when it comes to Legends and Legacies, you can probably get you a roller, that doesn't have an engine in it, maybe doesn't have a seat, transmission, all that. You can probably get yourself in the game right there from anywhere to $6,000 to $8,000, I would think, roughly. And then, once you get your parts and pieces in there, probably turnkey somewhere around $12,000 to $15,000.
So very affordable, excluding the trailer and whatever other stuff you drag up to the
tires,
track.
yeah.
That's the other part, and that's where we racers are our own worst enemy, and I've been guilty of it in the past, where it's like you have a very affordable car, but you got to have a cool trailer,
Yeah, yes.
I can't be towing this on an open trailer.
Fire suit with
flatbed.
sequins on it.
Yeah, well,
you know,
no, I got
glitter on my helmet.
Got to have my own bathroom, shower, air conditioning.
Yeah, you're only going to be there 2 hours, but
And
you got to have all that.
And you're in the midget
And
class.
then on the dirt side, I think I've probably talked about them in the past that you see at a lot of tracks around the region. They're called factory stocks, and what these are, this is your Monte Carlo. Looks like a steel-bodied stock car, like you would see an old street stock or whatever. And this thing, when it was developed, I mean, it's got a set of engine rules where you're, stock GM. I mean, everything is stock on these cars. I don't even know if these cars run headers. I think they're still running, exhaust manifolds and stock stuff like that. But they have open shock rules. And then obviously they're very creative with engines, and this class has gone to where you would get one built. You'd get a roller that I keep talking about. You could probably get one built for about $8,000. Now you see them for sale, brand new, state of the art factory stock roller, $20K out the door. And kind of the fallback to that as well. But we use pull off asphalt tires that cost $30 a piece. Well, yeah, but everything else is not $30.
Yeah, exactly. But I go back to when I was raising my daughters, and we did the weekend sports, the softball, the volleyball, that sort of stuff. And especially if you're on some sort of an elite team, a traveling team, dude, $20,000 was just a drop in the bucket compared to what we paid for airplane tickets, hotels, meals, equipment, all of the stuff, and the dues that you had to pay the team itself to keep the thing afloat. So it kind of falls in the same category.
Yeah, you guys know I've been affiliated with high school sports here in the Austin area for lots of years, and I meet parents that send kids off to baseball, football, volleyball camps, baseball camps, and it's like we were talking about with car racing, the same thing there. Well, this stuff never stops. These kids are all year long, and it's not like when you signed up for Little League, went and paid $15, they gave you a cap and a shirt, and you played for 10 weeks. I mean, it's ongoing, and parents have told me what they spend, and I'm like, my goodness, you don't have the next Jose Altuve here on your hands, but that's what they're shooting for.
Well, I have to tell you to that end, once you get them off to college, doesn't mean that they can afford to go to college. So guess who's paying for that too? And I still am, and I got a 32-year-old daughter.
Yeah, we say around our house that we're heavily invested in 2 universities that our kids no longer go to.
Yeah,
we just say that we've been donors.
Hey, I did want to mention to you. Sorry, Jeff. I did want to mention to you that I saw an ad that World of Outlaws is up in Dallas. Is it this weekend?
World of Outlaws is actually in Page. They're out at Cotton Bowl Speedway.
Yeah,
they were there last night. David Gravel, I believe, was the winner last night, and they race again tonight. And they've got one of the Cotton Bowl support classes. They've got a sport mod class that ought to produce about 20 cars. But World of, and this is another one, guys, that maybe we'll have to do it another time. I'm sure we're probably getting towards the end here. But the sprint car scene has gotten a little testy right now, because you have the World of Outlaws, and then you have a high limits group that is headed by Brad Sweet, Kyle Larson, and a couple of other different folks, where they've kind of gotten into where High Limits is throwing a lot of money into like franchise systems, like the charter system that NASCAR has.
Yeah, that's a joke.
And, yeah, World of Outlaws is back. It was really surprising. Last night there were only 26 cars in Page last night, and that's pretty low for a World of Outlaws event. And a lot of those competitors were more regional. It wasn't the big heavy
traveling band show.
So what kind of cars are on the asphalt compared to the World of Outlaws wing sprinters?
You do see some wing sprint cars on pavement up north. I think Winchester Speedway runs those, which is just amazing to watch, because half mile high bank racetrack, and these guys are just
hauling the mail, brother.
Oh my goodness!
And when they wreck, oh my God,
tumbling.
It's over the wall and break out the ambulance.
It's been teased a couple of times at Houston. There's been a couple of groups that have talked about bringing in. Gina actually had it done, but then the deal fell apart to where it wasn't able to actually happen. But really, about the only thing that you see around here is those factory stocks that I was talking about. They gravitate over to the Houston pavement every now and then, and the beauty of that is that they can come over with their asphalt pull-offs and they run with the other division that was intended to bring old street stocks kind of out of the woodwork, and that one just really hasn't gotten any grip. And I think the main problem with trying to tie the two together, I guess would be the way to say it, is that the dirt shows just offer so many big money races on a given weekend. I mean, whether it's in this region or up in DFW, even to Texarkana, Louisiana, Mississippi, there's always a $5,000 to win factory stock dirt race somewhere, and those guys will go for that.
Well, I have to tell you that I grew up obviously on asphalt at Old Meyer Speedway, a half-mile banked oval, and so my heart lies with that venue. But I will tell you that I have been to a couple of wing sprint car World of Outlaw races on dirt, and I'll tell you what, boy, that really cashes my ticket right there. I love that thing. This year, just in 2025 alone, through work, I've had the chance. I'm wearing the Chili Bowl shirt this morning, to actually go to the Chili Bowl for the first time. You know, the midget car race or midget car extravaganza in Tulsa. And then in January, I went to the Dirt at the Dome in St. Louis, big late model race, and I got to tell you, I'm taken aback by that. It really, I think, kind of the lure for a lot of people when it comes to dirt track racing is it was, Don, what pavement was when we back in the day, yes,
as younger. Those people are stars. I mean, those drivers are absolute rock stars. I mean, maybe they're not, Joey Logano and this type of thing, but people. It's unbelievable to see the fandom that dirt has, and it's
in that
a lot
series
more
of racing. Yeah,
well, I'm sure hoping that I can connect with you sometime during the season this year and come on out to a race that you call. I know I'll thoroughly enjoy your play-by-play on the PA and now on the internet as well. So it's great to talk to you, my friend, and always good to catch up. Let's talk soon, and shoot me an email with your race you're going to be close by, and I'm going to join you.
Yeah, what I'll do, I'll actually email you guys because I've got some Houston car shows coming up. So
cool.
Maybe we could chop it up at a car show or two, and maybe
love that. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get a Legends and have Mike drive it.
Yeah, we've been trying to get rid of him for so long now, and that's one way to do it. Rodney, it's great to talk to you, my friend. God bless you. Take care of yourself.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Rodney.
Just ahead, Mr. Mars has his review of the 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. That's a clone car. What? I'll tell you about that, along with Jeff's car culture feature on drive modes your SUV may or may not have. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is back in just a couple of shakes of a tail.
Don't go away.
Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
In Wheel Time hits the road literally when we join the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, April 26th, a month away. check out our link to the website through inwheeltime.com. Thanks for being with us today. And time now for Jeff's Car Culture. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. Show us what you got.
Well, I play with mine all the time. And,
we know that.
I know. Let me get that going there. There you go, Michael.
All right.
So do you really need it? Foul weather, deep snow, muddy roads, all have drivers craving for more traction. But there's 4 distinctive drivetrain configurations that we know about now. One's
that are possible on your car.
Yes, absolutely. Front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and 4-wheel drive. So by learning how each of these systems work, you can better adjust on your mileage and what you really need for the road. So the front-wheel drive, majority of passenger car vehicles on the road today use a front-wheel drive configuration. Engine power is routed to the front wheels. We all know that. Front-wheel drive designs are cheaper to manufacture, more space efficient than the rear-wheel drive systems because of the engine configuration with the transmission. It's right up there, right up front. Then you have your rear-wheel drive. RWD is what they're calling it. It's commonly found on full-size pickup trucks, old-school trucks and cars, truck-based SUVs, along with sports cars. High-performance and luxury vehicles, sedans, also have a rear-wheel drive. So it's a heavy-duty axle, suspension components that are designed to handle the large loads. Who doesn't like a large load? All-wheel drive, as the name implies, all-wheel drive, or AWB, can feed power to each of the corners depending on the system. And there's a lot of variations in designs for all-wheel drive vehicles depending on your manufacturer that you're buying. They can provide maximum forward traction during acceleration. It's especially helpful in sloppy road configurations when driving over moderate or off-road terrain. Got a lot of sloppy road conditions out there. Sophisticated clutch systems, which more of the modern vehicles have nowadays, more recently use the electric motors to allow for precise control over the power sent to each wheel. High-performance vehicles with all-wheel drive often send power to each corner at all times, but can be altered by using the balance control among the wheels depending on the condition of the drive. So it's commonly used for car-based SUVs as well as certain cars and minivans for the all-wheel drive systems. Then you get into the four-wheel drive guys. Although four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive are designations that are oftenly interchangeable in advertising and sales literature from your manufacturer, there is a difference. Generally, the four-wheel drive is optimized for severe off-road driving situations such as climbing over boulders, going through deep water, tackling steep hills with loose gravel, and low traction surfaces. So that's the main thing. What do you need for these? Well, for rain and light snow, two-wheel drive will probably work fine. And for most vehicles, front-wheel drive is the preferred setup, likely to be less cost-effective or likely to cost less than the equivalent of an all-wheel drive model. For performance cars, rear-wheel drive is preferred, but all-wheel drive is available and can increase traction. Is all-wheel drive safer? Not necessarily. One of the reasons people buy a traditional sport utility vehicle is for extra security and traction. Because you're out there with the family, you might get in that loose gravel situation and so on. So that's part of it. Drivers can be fooled into traveling in quick, slippery conditions with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles, only to discover that they're going too fast and trying to keep it from stopping. So be careful. Mileage does have a factor in this. The two-wheel drive, I was telling Don earlier, I get about 32 miles to the gallon. On my vehicle, 4-cylinder turbo, I can check it into the all-wheel drive, gets a little bit less gas mileage. The sport version runs like a little go-kart. I love the feel of it, but you're getting like 25 miles to the gallon. So I play with mine in the car all the time, seeing what mileage I can get. I'll change it at a stoplight or whatever the case. I was playing with it last night on the way home. Kathy said, stop playing with it. I said, okay. So use your judgment. If you get better gas mileage in the two-wheel drive, go for it. That's what I do.
I like the auto mode.
Auto mode?
Auto.
Oh, it shuts off?
No.
No.
The drive mode in automatic. Because if it senses that it needs four-wheel or all-wheel drive, it'll automatically flick into that mode. Or it can sometimes, on different manufacturers, send power to one wheel or the other. It's automatic. So you don't have to actually manually turn it into all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive. You don't have to do it as an automatic setting. Not all of them do.
Right.
But if they do, that's where mine are.
Yeah. Mine's a little button, and it once you hit the button, it gives you your options with this, or this, and I can toggle through it and hit one. Right now, coming over two-wheel drive, it's my car is a sporty little car. You know, I like it. I really like the car a lot.
Well, my 2001 Corvette has got in it. Obviously, it's rear-wheel drive, but it also has the traction control device, and you can turn it on or off, or you can have a mixed level with it by holding the button down.
Oh.
And it's more complicated. And they had a video on it when they first came out with it, because one of the first cars that you were able to actually control with the button, and I was impressed.
Good deal. Well,
I'm impressed with a lot of things. All right, time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had a chance to drive the Nissan Rogue. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the Mitsubishi Outlander. Because this car is
the bag cat out of the bag.
This car right here is actually underneath the skin of it, Nissan Rogue. Just thought you'd like to know.
Well, I appreciate that. Good to know. So, it's been a long time since I've actually got to drive a Mitsubishi, particularly the Outlander, because this is the bigger SUV vehicle that they have. Comes in 4 trim levels, and the ES, an SE, and an SEL, and the Platinum Edition. Now, we happen to be driving the SEL 2.5 SAWC. Now, the SAWC stands for the Super All-Wheel Control, like we were talking about. It will shift the power from wheel to wheel depending on what you need and where you need to go. So, again, SEL is the trim level that we were driving. The government says this is a small SUV. I found it a little bit to be bigger. It is a 3-row SUV, 7-passenger. So, to me, I would not call it small. But
That's the face of it.
Mm-hmm. That's the face of it. It looks like several things that are out there on the market. Up front, you're going to find LED lighting, which is going to have the auto high-low headlights, the fog lights, daytime running lights. Even the license plate light is LED. Got heated power side folding mirrors. Got a panoramic sunroof on it. A body color spoiler. Silver roof rails to kind of give it a little contrast. Hands-free lift gate. Rolling on some nice 20-inch two-tone alloy wheels, and there's no spare. There is a tire repair kit. I'm seeing a list more and more, and I'm not a big fan of that, but you got to save a little room and weight, I guess. Now, you get to the inside of it, you're going to find that you've got semi-aniline seating surfaces. Now, the first row is heated and ventilated. The second row is a 40-20-40 folding setup, and the outboard 2 settings, the 40-40, they are also heated. Up front, you got a 12.3-inch display. Now, this is a smartphone link display, so you want to do some things in this car, you're going to have to hook your smartphone to it to be able to do it. It's where you're going to have all your audio, your nav, your comfort controls, your Apple CarPlay, audio, Android Auto, wireless charger, and there are also front and rear USB-C plugs. Now, again, that's a C. They don't use the A's in this car. So if you got in the old school type plugs, you're not going to be able to use them in this. You're going to have to step up. Has a 12.3-inch digital driver display that's pretty easy to configure to what you want, but it also has a 10.8-inch heads-up display that in the daytime, it's a little light. You know, at night it works really well. Daytime, you got to kind of look at it. The designer rear view, it's got a digital rear view mirror. And so it's got the rear camera in it, and I like that. I'm seeing that more and more because you get a little wider angle view with that camera than you do if you're looking through the mirror, you're looking out the back glass. Now, it also had the rear door pull-up sunshades. You don't see that much anymore, but this is the second car this year I've got that had that. It uses a Yamaha Ultimate Sound System, 12 speakers in it instead of some of the other that you hear about, so Yamaha's a little different. Now, the Outlander, regardless of what trim you get, has a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder in it, 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. It has an 8-speed automatic CVT is the way they have it listed. It does have paddle shifters on it. You can try and shift it manually, but it's basically a CVT. Tow 2,000 pounds when properly equipped. EPA says you should be looking for about 24 in the city, 30 on the highway, 26 combined. Now, I drove this vehicle 222.2 miles, and I got 24.2 out of it. I thought it did rather well.
It's not bad for a big SUV.
It is, and it probably, I didn't have a chance to tow it like some of the pictures and stuff I've seen of them, but Mike could use a little more juice under the hood, but it works fine. Solid driving experience. It feels good out on the road. Surprisingly quiet. It's very roomy for the passengers in the front and the rear. It does have a third-row seat. I would save that definitely for the littles. Base model price for this vehicle is $29,645. You want to step up to the base trim price, for the SEL is $38,795. MSRP is tested $45,930, which I thought was rather cheap. Now, the Honda CR-V is comparable at $30,100. The Mazda CX-5 at $28,570. The Nissan Rogue that Don mentioned is $29,230. I also want to point out this is one of those vehicles that comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on it. And I don't drive them very often, but I'd like to drive this for a long time to see if it'll hold up as well as it drove for the short term.
Thank you, sir. In Will Time Car Talk Show continues after this quick break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 3rd to the 5th at NRG Center. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience with 1,000 vehicles up for grabs. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. Bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets now at Mecum.com.
From the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Hemmings used car, name the price.
All right.
And recalls this week. Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll bring you stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, we always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong, Chief Engineer David Ainsley taking it easy. He's getting ready for our remote broadcast coming up here in a couple of weeks at the Hemi Hideout.
I texted him this morning. He was up early.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably been up all night.
Yeah, probably just getting in. You know how these young guys are.
Yeah, I do know that. I don't know that.
I was going to say.
but I remember that kind of from way back in the day.
If he gets his diary out and reads it, it
Well,
comes back
he used to take, his little horse and put it back up in the barn, and that's how,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go there?
No.
Okay. Some of the recalls this week, Tesla recalling 46,096 Cybertrucks in the U.S. Nearly all the Cybertrucks built in the first 15 months of production to fix an exterior panel that could detach while driving. Latest in a series of callbacks for the pickup since last year. Recall is over issues with a stainless steel exterior trim panel that can delaminate and detach from the vehicle. The way that they put cars together these days, a lot of it has to do with glue.
Yes.
And so the mounting points to the panel usually are glued onto the panel. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody
didn't
well,
glue it.
And when you get them hot for various reasons on the parking lot nowadays in certain states, then that panel, the glue melts.
It's one panel, not the same two front or the two rear or whatever. No, it's one panel. So who knows, some sort of production mess up there.
Faux pas.
Transmission damage may cause wheel lockup. Cadillacs.
No.
CT4, CT5, CT6, and the Chevy Camaro 2020 through 2022, you're getting recalled. Improperly secured front seat frame. Nissan Sentra 2025. Land Rover, Range Rover for 2025, seat buckle may not latch. Also, the Land Rover, Range Rover Sport for 2025. There's certain glitches. The car manufacturers these days are not manufacturers, really. They're assemblers. Mm-hmm. And so they have outsiders that manufacture certain portions of the car. Some of them General Motors is good about making their own engine, so is Ford. But the rest of the components, the fenders, the
Starters,
suspension
alternators.
components, all that's
Yeah.
done by suppliers. And I didn't realize this. I guess I didn't really think about it. But the suppliers are, if they manufacture something that is not good, it's on them. So those recalls, on them. Ugly. And then it's on the actual manufacturer of the car to bring it in, pay the mechanic to fix it through
The vendor.
the vendor.
Yeah.
Right, and unfortunately, they take the hit for the recall because it's their
You
product.
don't want to have recalls, but as I mentioned last weekend on our show, Ford, almost all of the recalls, and there were a lot of them,
Yeah.
were mostly Fords. And Ford has been battling this issue for several years now. That's nothing new, but it seems to have ramped up recently. I think if I'm Ford, I'm going to go, are we engineering it the wrong way and telling these guys to produce it this way? Or are they buying the company that's the cheapest to manufacture
Low
the
bidder.
part?
Well,
or a combination of both?
To that point, and there's some electronic parts that are not only specific to General Motors, but they'll make a widget, and that widget fits that manufacturer,
Correct.
that manufacturer for that feature to work. Now, if it goes bad across the board, it goes bad across the board. That's why you get all the manufacturers recall.
Well,
For
Takata
specific-
airbags
Takata
is a great
airbag, right.
example of
That's
that.
exactly it. Yeah, because it's one vendor.
I know.
Yeah.
For like every manufacturer in the world. And, it's funny that they place all their eggs in one basket like that.
Well, they get to you get the counters, the bean counters start looking at economies of scale. Well, we can save 10 cents if we do this. We're not going to worry about 2 years from now.
Which for you and me, 10 cents is not a big deal, but for a manufacturer, you multiply that
turn
times
it into
millions.
a couple of $1 million. Yeah.
It's significant.
Yep,
All right. Now let's have some fun, shall we?
we're going to do that.
Yeehaw!
Let me.
Hemmings.com sold cars roundup.
Okay, give me a second.
This is
Go ahead.
you just pipe down over
right,
there.
I'll do that.
This is a segment that we do that Hemmings puts out once a week of the cars that they are auctioning off online. And these, for the most part, we like to pick cars that might interest you as a collector car, something different that you want to drive, got a little extra change in the pocketbook and ready to dive in. So here, my friends, is a 1967 Ford Mustang. And we like to have the boys here, Jeff and Mike, guess what the price sold was for this car. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details of it. Does it have the original engine? Probably not. Has it been repainted? Probably. Does it have stock wheels on it? No, this clearly does not. There's certain aspects of it, but that's not the point here. The point is that if you want to drive a 1967 Ford Mustang, put it in the garage, tinker with it, have fun with it, take it out and cruise ins and stuff like that, then this is my cup of tea, okay? So a 67 Ford Mustang, orange. It's got some rally stripes on the front of it and a stripe down the middle. And is that a stock hood?
No,
It's
and
kind of
neither-
hard to tell. No, that's not a stock.
Chin spoiler, striping.
Yeah, it's been modified. So what we would call a resto mod. So what do you think that sold for?
I'm going to go 14.
Oh no, I'm going to go 28. Heitzman says 25.
18.9. Way to go, Jeff.
18.9. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things I see. There's no side mirror for the passenger, so that's a deduct for me.
That's easy to fix, though. You mean
Yeah.
if you're a tinkerer and you like to do that, you can buy Repro side view
You
mirrors
can.
and put that on there.
I'm not too fancy on the striping on the fender there either.
Well, you
No.
can take that off.
Yeah.
Sand it off.
Yeah.
Next up,
No hood, no engine emblems either. Now that you mentioned it.
probably got a 6-cylinder in it. Whatever. Okay, here's one that, when it first came out, they had Chevrolet, in their infinite wisdom, did those built-in side skirts for the back wheels, and I'm going, I can't believe that they would build something that ugly. Well, as the years progressed and they couldn't sell everybody on that, they finally opened up that back rear wheel well and made it look fairly decent. So this is a 1995 Chevrolet Impala, a 4-door sedan. I don't know if this is they had an SS version. They had several versions of
Yeah,
it.
they haven't had a wagon.
They did.
Yeah, I loved it.
So this is a 95 Chevy Impala. Obviously, it's got aftermarket wheels on it. What do you think something like that would sell for today?
I'm going to go 16.
16. I'm thinking more like 12.
Wow. Really?
Well, it's just I've never seen those sell very good. Heitzman says 31.
Well, Heitzman, I think, is closer than both of you because it sold for $26,250.
Dang.
But he went over.
He did go over, but this isn't The Price is Right.
The price is wrong, Bob.
Man.
Next up is a 1976 Triumph TR6. Now, did this not have a six-cylinder in it? I think that the TR6 had a 6, but I'm not sure because I think the TR4 had a 4.
I thought the 7 was when they went to the 6.
I don't know. It doesn't make any difference. What do you think some British thing like this would cost? I'm not a big fan of British cars.
No.
They're fun to drive. I had a brother-in-law that had one.
Okay,
He had a Spider.
They're like little go-karts.
All right, 76 Triumph TR6.
I have no clue. I'll say 16.
I'll go 20.
Heitzman says 27.
Sold for $21,000.
Dang.
I'll take it.
So if you're
gonna start
that
look-
looks pretty good. to
Yeah,
But
me.
no, it does. It's very
Red line tires on it. That's a little set off there.
Yeah.
Black interior. That's nice.
Okay, now here's one for you old schoolers out there. This is
Well, let's see what Heitzman says before I say anything.
a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Wide whites. Now, they weren't wide whites when the car was new.
No.
This looks like a completely stock vehicle to me.
It's got the big red steering wheel
But
on
wait
the
a minute.
inside.
What are those wheels? What?
No,
Those aren't stock wheels.
They're hubcaps.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
hubcaps.
they're
Okay.
yeah.
Well, they're wheel covers,
Yeah.
Wheel
not
covers.
hubcaps.
Well, yeah, wheel covers.
Okay, but it does have chrome exhaust tips on it. So, is
Ooh.
there went the price.
Yeah.
did they offer chrome tips on 57? I don't think so.
I don't think they even offered exhaust, but that's
Well, there's that. So this is a two-door. It is a hardtop, so it's got the post in it. 57 Chevy Bel Air. What do you think something like this would cost?
I'm going 34.
Oh, I was going to go 22. Heitzman says 18.
Really? That's a pretty clean-looking car.
Yeah, but it's stock. I mean, that's
Well, you don't know that. It could
well,
have,
but I mean, if you look
could
at
have an LS engine under the hood.
Well,
Don't
it
know.
could have,
It
and it
has
could
the
have a
stock
Hemi for that.
stance.
yes, and it's got the big red steering wheel on the inside, like that's
It's
all
got a
stock.
red interior. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got that. So the car sold for $38,325.
Ouch.
Well, I think that's probably a fair price.
What did you say?
He said 18.
Okay.
But well, to me though, something like that's got to be the buyer. I mean, that's not something that I don't think any one of us would buy.
I gotta
for a
have it. I
dri-
gotta have it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
Spend the money on it.
It would
Well,
be
that's true, and it could get bid up pretty easily because it is a very collectible car.
Yeah.
very iconic car. I mean, talk about American
but
classic.
the people that
that's
would
it.
want one that's completely stock and original like that that's going to be limited.
They wouldn't put that on this Hemmings auction. That would be at some Barrett Jackson auction. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
So
Me complicit.
yeah.
You got to consider the source. All right.
All right.
Here's mine. I would really like to have this car.
Ooh, yeah.
A 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle.
Oh, look at that right there.
Now, it also the hood the fender stripes on
Yeah,
this.
not a
This
fan.
this would be Don's. That's very J.C. Whitney-ish.
Don't make me have to come down there and do ugly things to your head. I do like now. Does it have the cowl induction hood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have cowl.
Yeah, Kyle. But there's no.
The side stripes just don't do it for me
I
because
don't-
that's not
It's kind of a Chrysler thing. A Dodge.
No, Corvette. I'm thinking the Corvette.
the GS. Yeah, I would take
Anyway.
that off of there.
Yeah.
I think I'd go some more stock looking wheels. They don't have to be completely stock, but at least have the look to it.
No,
anyway,
I like the wheels.
70 Chevy Chevelle. Of course, you are from Neaterville.
Yeah.
How much do you think that would go for on the Hemmings sold car website?
I'm going to say 31.
Heitzman says 32, but I'm going to bump up back to 28.
It's not bumping up.
I know. I went the wrong way.
Well, theoretically, it is.
Theoretically, yes.
Depends on if you're laying down or not. So I would go for the 28
in
just
your
because.
day bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the sold car price is $37,538,
Oh,
and I think that's a fair price.
yeah. A little high, but
I think
it
it's
is
a little
nice car.
high. It just
You don't know what's got under the hood.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
all of that information is available on Hemmings.
Looks like leather interior.
All right.
faux
Next
leather.
up is we got to move along here. A 52 Chevy 3100. Now, this has got a patina paint job on it. It's been buffed up. They've also put a chrome grille on it. It's been lowered. It's got modifications to
Yeah.
it. Probably got a late model V8 in it if I were a guessing man, along with power steering, because I don't think in 52 they offered power steering in
Nope.
pickup
Nope.
trucks. And
Nice truck.
Yeah, it is. I like this look. I like everything about it. So a 52 Chevy 3100. Now, I believe that's the 3/4 ton, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Anyway, what do you think that would go
41.
for? 41, Jeff says.
Yeah, Heitzman says 19, but I'm going to say 32.
38,850. 38,850.
I'll give you that one, Michael.
Next up is the 84 Mercury Cougar.
What? Looks like a Chrysler Cordoba.
My ex-wife. We had a big fight, and she went out and bought this car.
Oh.
And then within the year, put it up to the roof in a flood. It was great. 84 Mercury Cougar sold for. By the way, this car has less than 22,000 miles. I wonder if this one went through the flood.
I was
Maybe this
thinking,
was the flood car.
It could be the flood car.
84
value.
Mercury Cougar. How much?
ocean blue.
You never see these things.
No, you don't. Well, you wouldn't recognize it as a Cougar anyway.
Yeah,
if
and
you
you
saw it
can't.
going
Yeah,
down the
I'm
road.
sure that they've covered up all the rust from the flood.
$8,000.
8,000, Mr. Mars.
I'll go 10. Heitzman's up at 29.
How about 12.6?
Okay, Michael.
You know what? I want to own the Jeff Heitzman Memorial used car lot. I could make some money there.
Stick to spaceships,
And
Jeffrey.
then finally this morning, a 1988 Mercedes-Benz 560 SL. Now, in 88, this was this
Yeah.
is the cream of the crop. I knew a woman that had one of these, and I wanted to kill her. She was a stuck-up.
Was that number 1 or 2 or 3?
I don't know.
Some woman that I worked with. 88 Mercedes-Benz 560 SL.
88. That's another one of them. It's I'm gonna go 26.
I have no idea. I'm going to go. I have no idea. 20.
Heitzman says 33.
No, I'm going to go in the teens. Let's go 18.
14.7, Jeff.
Oh man, you need to jump on that one.
You, ladies and gentlemen, can get this if the price is right at 14.7, along with all of the trouble that car will bring into your life.
It's got nice wheels.
I guess. I wonder if are those real wire wheels, or are they hubcaps?
I want to
as
go
you
back
like
to that. I
call
want to
them?
go back to one of these.
What are you going back to?
I'm going back to this one because the license plate was. That was one of them had a New Jersey license plate. I think it was this one.
Could
Yeah.
be from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any difference. Anyway, so there's that. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Coming up, we've got the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll have stories making automotive news headlines this week. Thanks for joining us on the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We continue right here in just a couple of minutes.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
We hope you'll join us on the upcoming Hot Rod Tour of Texas, beginning April 24th in Victoria. You'll get all the latest from the tour all weekend long. And Saturday the 26th, we'll be streaming our live show from the tour stop at Spindle Tap Brewery right here in Houston. Thanks for joining us today here on In Real Time. Time now for the Cruise In and events calendars. Jeffrey?
Absolutely. Well, we've got next Friday, we've got the Biff Busby Hot Rod Cruise In. We talked about this one a couple weeks ago. It's at the Topper Wine Road. It's 12702 Topper Wine in San Antonio. It's a cruise that happens every Friday night from 6 to 10. There is a $5 admission, but you get a $5 coupon to use at Biff's, which is the local restaurant there. Live music or a DJ. Either way, they're going to do that for you.
We know Biff.
We know Biff. Different Biff. I think they're related, though.
Okay.
And then you got the family cruise in on the 29th here in Santa Fe, Texas. It goes from 5 to 9. You've got a lineup of food trucks and things. You've got live music. No outside food. So they support the small businesses. $5 parking includes your show car. It's the 3 Acres Food Truck Park at 10648 FM 1764 Road in Santa Fe. And lastly, we're going to take a run out to San Antonio. It's the 6th annual River Rod. It is taking place at 178 Landa Park Drive in New Braunfels.
Oh, Landa, sure.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of tubing and rafting and things going on.
Oh, come on,
there.
Jeff. You've never done that?
I've never gone down.
We're
the tube.
going.
No, not with my back. I'll probably sink. Vehicle, but there is a fee.
We're going to have the In Wheel Time Tube-a-thon.
Tubathon.
And we're
It's
talking
where-
about
see,
inner tube.
I was going to wear a tube top.
And you, sir, a tube top. Although we all need them.
I have a support tube top. Anyways.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can drive the tube truck, and you can follow us down the river.
With one of those big flags like we were talking to.
Here I am.
Okay, but it's actually the Worst Fest location is where they have all that.
Sure.
300 entries. Now, you have to pay for your parking. It's $55 for limited space. There's 20 spots, and you get a nice grassy area, grassy knoll on the
And there's a
Cold
lot
River.
of grass to be smoked at
Right,
this event,
I'm
too.
telling you. That's why
Secondhand smoke.
$45 for a spot on the blacktop, but that's and of course they have it different areas. It goes from 8:30 to 4:30, and that is on the 28th, which is next. Was it Saturday? Saturday. Okay, there's that. And then, of course, John was talking about it, the Hot Rod Tour. We've got the Hemi Hideout on April 5th, so there you go.
Yeehaw.
Tube tops.
Can we get some with our logo on it, maybe?
We can. I can have it. You want them embroidered? Or
What would you suggest? Embroidered or printed?
I would say printed.
Printed.
Yeah.
The other way to itch and irritate the
Yeah.
skin.
Sort of like, wearing burlap or something.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
exactly.
Burlap tube tops. It
All
could
right.
be a fashion statement.
This is kind of a long story. This is from Automotive News. Ford Motor Company produced nearly 400,000 F-Series Super Duty pickups at 2 factories in the United States in 2024. Conversely, every engine came from Canada or Mexico. That now has the markings of one costly problem for the automaker. Unifor, which is Canada's union up there, Local 200 President John Dien Agnolo, 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 who represents about 2,000 hourly employees at Ford engine plants in Windsor, Ontario, said tariffs would put his employer in a tough spot. The Windsor factory also supplies the iconic Mustang 5-liter V8 engine. Sam Fiorani, Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting at the U.S.-based Auto Forecast Solutions, said 39% of all Super Duty engines came from Windsor. The other 61%, all of those, the 6.7-liter V8, came from a plant in Chihuahua, Mexico. When it comes to the remaining F-Series pickups sold in the U.S., 25% of the engines were the 5-liter V8 sourced from Windsor. Remember, he's got a Windsor in it. He's got a Cleveland in it. D'Angelo said that to get ahead of the tariffs, Ford has hired trucking firms and secured warehousing in states such as Michigan, and Ohio to transport output from Essex Engine Plant in Windsor over the border. Ford stockpiling parts, tells suppliers to keep shipping amid tariffs. D'Angelo estimates that each truckload of engines would face U.S. $75,000 in duties if they were transported over the border under a 25% levy. One trailer holds 45 Super Duty engines, or 66 5-liter engines. They are key to assembly at Ford plants in Kentucky, Michigan, and Ohio, which employ almost 20,000 workers combined. And I bring that up because no telling what's going to happen and how this is all going to play out.
Yep.
We're hoping that good things play out in the end. Elon Musk sought to reassure Tesla employees that despite rocky moments, they should hang on to their stock in an unannounced all-hands meeting Thursday in Austin, which the billionaire chief executive streamed live on his social media network X. If you read the news, it feels like the Armageddon, he told employees during the meeting, which lasted past 10 p.m. local time.
Ooh.
He says, I can't walk past a TV without seeing a Tesla on fire. I understand if you don't want to buy our product, but you don't have to burn it down. Shares in Tesla have plunged more than 40% this year, giving up gains from a stock surge that followed President Donald Trump's inauguration. Keeping an eye on that for you as well. And here's one for you. The head of the Secret Service met with GM executives this week in Michigan to discuss the next generation armored SUV as the automaker works on the upcoming version of the presidential limousine. In 2018, the Secret Service began using the latest version of the custom-built Cadillac presidential limousine after the prior version was introduced in 2009, just before Barack Obama took office. It's a tank.
Yeah.
Literally,
Beast.
Call it the Beast. They call it the Beast, and I don't know. They won't give you any details on it, but based on the looks of it and how thick the doors are, that thing's got to weigh 50,000 pounds.
Kevlar-lined truck tires.
Is that what they are?
Yeah. They're like a commercial E grade, and then they build up from there. So it's more.
And they
than
have
that.
9,000 pounds of pressure inside those tires.
I don't know about that, but yes, probably pretty high.
Stellantis is offering buyouts worth up to $72,000 to hourly workers at more than 20 sites, including assembly plants, parts distribution facilities, and its Michigan proving grounds. The voluntary termination program is available to those in the Detroit and Toledo, Ohio areas who have been at the automaker for at least a year. And then it goes down from there.
And didn't all the UAW just have a contract renewal last year? I mean, what's going on with that? Is that all part of this? Something new?
I don't know all the details to that.
Skirting the rules? I don't know.
It's a mess is what it is. Hyundai, but the Stellantis thing is kind of a standalone deal.
It's their own internal strife.
Yeah, because of that idiot that they had that he ruined everything. Hyundai Motor and GM are closing to finalize a deal for Hyundai to share 2 electric commercial van models with the U.S. auto giant, according to a source familiar with the talks. And Hyundai, documents reviewed by Reuters. In return, GM might provide Hyundai with pickup trucks to sell under its own brand here in North America.
Wow.
Documents reviewed show Hyundai is considering deals with GM that include joint purchasing or development involving computing chips, next-generation batteries, and battery materials. Don't be surprised if you see a Hyundai pickup truck coming your way down the street soon, because all they got to do is put a different badge on it. They'll probably put a different front end and badging, and that's about it.
That's what they do nowadays.
Yeah, and they used to do that in the past too. I remember that actually, was it Nissan that did that? Chevrolet was part of that. It's been too long, but they used to do
the
that.
Chevy Love was in Isuzu.
That's right. Chevy was.
And I owned one.
Did you? How was it?
It was. We moved down to Texas in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's back when little trucks were little trucks.
It was a 4-wheel drive. It had the white wagon wheel spokes on it. It was black, red interior. I was styling.
You were. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. We will be right back.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 3rd to the 5th at NRG Center. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience with 1,000 vehicles up for grabs. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. Bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets now at Mecum.com.
From Studio A in the Texas Sugar Shack, this is the award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we visit with Tony Thacker, hopefully, about his new book, Hot Rod Mavericks. Also, giving you my thoughts on driving the 2025 Lexus UX 300 hybrid SUV. It's a mouthful. Jeff has the Motor Minute in this segment of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, we always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday morning. It's a beautiful day here in
Gorgeous
Houston,
day.
Texas. It really is. I think the high temperature today is supposed to be somewhere about 80 or so. What are you doing down there, Mars?
I'm trying to find out where Tony is.
Yeah. We got the door open. If you look down the door out
Wait a
there,
minute, that's him
beautiful.
walking up now,
Is it? No.
Hey, no,
But that's a
I
beautiful
can't find it.
sight. Look at that. Y'all can't see this, but there's a gorgeous vehicle out there parked right about 50 feet away.
You know, that looks to me like it's some sort of Buick.
It's a Buick.
Buick.
It's a gorgeous car.
It is. What is it? A Buick Envoy?
It's an Envision.
Envision.
Yeah. I envision
It's kinda-
myself driving it.
So I'm sitting around the corporate table. What are we going to name it? Well, let's see. We had an Invista at one time. Remember the Invista?
Yeah, we had an Enclave.
No, but let's go back to the 50s.
Oh, okay.
The Invista, the Buick Invista. And it was part of the big sedan league back then, where they had the Buick Wildcat engine.
Oh, my aunt had a Wildcat. It was a gorgeous car. It was a gorgeous car.
that
My
was-
cousin Doug's a listener supporter of the show, so thank you, Aunt Jean, for letting
What,
me
his
ride
mother
it.
or something?
It was his mom, yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous car.
Yeah. Well, the Wildcat was one of its own. Not only they had the Wildcat engines, but they had the Wildcat car.
Right. She had the Wildcat car.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. It was white. Oh, it was gorgeous.
And it was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about that when I did the thing about the Buicks, the 225 with the little squares on the front grille. That's
Yeah.
what the two kind of looks like that.
Yes, it
Kind of
does.
kind of a
Uh-huh. A deuce and a quarter.
Yeah. So there you go.
You know, I was never sophisticated enough to actually ride in a deuce and a quarter. Certainly never drove one. But my God, they were huge.
My dad had Pontiacs. He had a Catalina, and it was that back in the Star Chief days.
Yes.
And the headliner was little tiny stars.
Wait a
So
minute.
when you're a
Was
little
it-
kid, when
was
you lay in the
Pontiac
back,
did the Star Chief?
yeah. So when you lay in the back seat when you're a kid taking a nap or driving home from grandma's, you look up at the ceiling and there's all these little stars, and it was pretty cool. Yeah.
They built them
Good
right
times.
back then.
Yeah.
And you see these rebuild shows on television with those cars, and they've got a bajillion parts, little bitty trim pieces here, a little bitty there,
Well,
chrome this.
We went out to Fireman Jack's car show.
Yes.
Remember, we saw that there was a Buick out there, and it was every little detail of a headlight bezel. There was like 14 parts on this thing.
Yes.
And they're all chrome, and you had to fit them in. It was just amazing. That's
Yeah.
what they did back then.
yeah.
Yep.
It truly, it was amazing the way that they built cars back in the day. And that was all of the World War II era guys that came back from war.
Attention to detail.
Oh, yeah. And the bigger the better. And my God, the cars got to be massive. You look at those today and you think, this was the standard operating vehicle of the day. Mom and Dad had one. Dad had the Buick Special.
And I think if we didn't go through the oil embargo and the gas prices back in the 70s, we probably would still have
Actually,
big
we
cars.
still do have them, and they're in the form of an SUV.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking the old school, like the Deuce and a Quarter, like the Wildcats and all that.
So
the big
when
caddies.
are the lowrider guys going to put one of those great big huge SUVs down, not down slammed on the ground, but get it lowered so it's no longer a sport utility vehicle. It is now a four-door sedan with a trunk that's the same height as the roof.
Well,
Is
that's
that-
that's not my style. I don't go low. I want to see like an Escalade donk. That's what I want.
Mars just put his head in his hands.
No, he does that a lot.
That's an Escalade donk.
Escalade donk.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that there's one out there.
I'm sure there is.
Escadonk.
Escadonk is hauling a lot of escadonkies.
Oh, that's perfect. That's
like
perfect
that.
for him. You do?
I like that. It's
I'll tell you what. So your charge in the next month is to get an Escadonk and review it in your. Car
I'll do
review.
it. I'll do it. I'll
I
volunteer.
think
for
you
that.
got to go to Atlanta or someplace to really get.
No.
So it coming home down the freeway last night about 10 o'clock, which is way late for me.
I know.
And there was a group of JDM guys. All of them slammed to the ground. And there was one that when we were just doing the freeway speed limit, and he just came on the on-ramp, and he was trying to get up to speed.
Sounded like
And Leslie looks at me and says, I don't think that's normal.
No,
is it? I
it's a-
said, no, he doesn't have any mufflers on it.
It's a ticked off bumblebee.
It's what it is.
Yeah,
It was,
very
it was,
upset
yeah,
bumblebee.
it's not
Which way did you come home last night?
59.
Oh, we went I-10 because we went out, turned right, boom, I-10 was right there. It was,
Yeah. Well, Leslie got mad at me because I didn't do that. You don't ever follow. I said, well, I wanted to go 59. I didn't want to go that far north.
See, we did that going because it was trying to take me through Highway 90 all the way into town. And
Oh,
I said, I'm
Lord.
not doing
That'd
that.
take you forever.
So we took 59. And it said it was going to be we made it there in like 50 minutes
Not
from,
bad.
from Sugar Land to downtown. It was not bad.
The guy had it floored. I know he did. He had it all lit up. It was slammed to the ground.
Yeah. Mike's Googling donks.
Yeah.
No, what did you call them?
Escadonk.
Escadonk. Mike, maybe that's the president's new vehicle that GM is
Yeah.
going to be working on. An Escadonk.
There you go.
So what happens to the old presidential limousines, the Escadonks, if you will?
Maybe goes to a museum.
I think that they go
cut
to
it
the
up.
crusher
Yeah, I think they cut it up.
because they don't want anybody to know any of the secrets. in there.
secrets, yep.
Yeah, and there's lots of them.
Oh yeah.
Apparently,
Evidently, there's like
the doors are that thick.
and they're packed with ammunition and guns and deterrents.
And communication gear.
Right. I went to high school. Young man, a year behind me. I went to high school with his sister, Mike Cuttajar. He worked with.
Cut a jar?
His name was Cuttajar. He worked with somehow with that vehicle, with the Beast. I don't know all the details, but he was involved in some type of program with that, the maintenance of the vehicle. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I hear from him every now and then. I see Facebook and all that stuff. But
Does he know that you're on this award-winning car show?
I believe so. I think we tried to get him on one time years ago, and he's just a busy guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Not really involved in that anymore, but good for him.
Did he work for GM?
I think he, I don't know if it was a company that just did the service for it, but I'll try to find out.
I'd like to find out more about the car, the Beast, the ones that they built for the president.
look into that.
The one that Kennedy was shot in is on display
Yeah,
at
it's,
the Henry
Henry
Ford.
Ford,
The only thing is that it's no longer, it wasn't longer a convertible after he was assassinated.
Yeah, they put the top
a
back
top
on.
back on it. Yeah. So, but it is the same car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same chat, yeah, same.
It was the same car.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was always interesting. All right. Well, we have some time to fill because,
I had an idea.
yeah.
You were talking about the lowering
Yes.
Escalade and all that stuff. Well, if you put all that weight and stuff in there, all the bulletproof glass and everything in it, you wouldn't have to jack with a suspension. Just let it settle down on its
Yeah.
own by it being overweight.
Can you imagine trying to do some evasive moves with it on the ground
Oh,
like
no.
that? It'd tear the whole suspension out from underneath it.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Oops,
it's like
I forgot.
It's like turning an aircraft carrier, all the big boat. Yep.
Let's do, I got a story here. Can I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't seem to be making much headway over here.
Well, we got a free book, so I guess it's
Well,
worth it. Hot Rod Mavericks.
Well,
Don't
we
buy
couldn't
it.
talk them out of 3, so now they're going to have to pay the price. I guess.
Federal Reserve announced no changes to the central bank's benchmark interest rate policy after its second Federal Open Market Committee meeting of 2025. The Fed also made no changes to the rate at its January 29th meeting. The federal funds rate target range will remain 4.25 to 4.5%, where it has stood since the last quarter in December, the committee said. The Fed's adjustments can have a ripple effect on the interest rates auto lenders charge consumers. The committee judges that the risks to achieving its employment and inflation goals are roughly in balance. The Fed said in a statement, the economic outlook is uncertain and the committee is attentive to the risks to both sides of its dual mandate. That is not something that is said. That is something that is written, because nobody would say those words in a speech. The economic outlook is uncertain, and the committee is attentive to the risks to both sides of its dual mandate. I would like to interview that person that wrote that and go, we used to have a sign in the newsroom that said, write like you talk.
It's probably AI then that wrote that. Could be.
Either that or one of those overpriced government people. Because it's the Fed that says it.
Niederville.
Theoretically. Vehicle thefts in the United States, Mars, recorded their biggest yearly drop in 4 decades as automakers, mainly Hyundai and Kia, bolstered anti-theft measures, while easing supply chain constraints made stealing vehicle parts for less lucrative.
What?
Yeah. Again, here we go. Somebody wrote that. Hyundai and Kia cars topped the list of the most stolen vehicles in 2021 and 2023 as their lack of immobilizers made them easy targets for stealing, fueling viral social media trends such as the Kia Boys. Although cars made by Hyundai and Kia were among the top 5 models that were stolen last year, their thefts fell about 37.5%, data from the National Insurance Crime Bureau showed. So they stopped that because they didn't put engine immobilizers on the keys. Really? So now I got to take it to John Gray down at
Gulf Coast.
To put an engine immobilizer on it because the factory didn't. I think I'd charge them.
Oops.
So how does it really work? You turn the car off, you hit the door lock, and then you hit the engine immobilizer?
No.
No?
You would have the engine immobilizer somewhere inside, like a switch,
Yeah.
a battery disconnect,
Valet.
Oh, yeah.
valet, if they had
So you
that.
get in it and you unlock it, you get in it and you push the button to
Yeah.
mobilize the engine.
Hit the switch.
And the switch is gone.
Don't you remember you used to, there's that. But
Well, I'm just saying.
remember underneath the dashboard, you used to have that secret switch that you
Secret
put
switch.
in there.
Yeah.
A little toggle.
A cheap toggle from Radio Shack that you put in there, wired it up to the starter so you wouldn't get any power to the starter. Well, how's it going to start?
Yeah. If somebody gets in, they just run their hand along the bottom of the dash. Oop,
there it
there it is.
That's why you don't put it that way.
Do you have a routine when you get in the car? I mean, you get down in the seat. What's your routine? Mine is you put the seatbelt on. You start the car because that eliminates all the ding-dongs and things that get your seatbelt on. Then I push the button to disable the auto start-stop. And then I get into 4-wheel, 2-wheel, sport.
I've stopped doing that.
And
I
then
used to when I first got the new cars that had the auto start-stop feature on them, and they had a button that you could override it. I always overrode it. Now, I'm not. But if the car shudders to start from a stoplight, I'm going to tell you in the car reviews that I do. Because it shouldn't do that. And the manufacturer, shame on you that let a car do that.
And a lot of them, you don't hardly even realize what it's doing
Correct.
anymore. I got one sitting out there right now, though. Whenever you don't
What is
really know the Infinity. You don't really notice it stopping. But when it goes to start,
it shudders starting.
That's right.
Now, are there two different versions? There's one where you take your foot off the brake and it automatically starts, and there's another system designed that when you press the gas,
Yeah, I had that recently, and I'll tell you what, it damn near got me killed.
Pressing the gas one.
Yeah, because you take your foot off the brake,
You
and there's
expect to
no
roll.
engine there. Yeah, well, no, there's no engine there, and it's waiting for you to hit the accelerator pedal, then the engine comes on. No.
Yeah. That second or two hesitation there.
We're in Houston, Texas, where there's a bajillion cars, and there are certain situations that if you want to get across the intersection, you better be ready to go. And when it's your time to squirt out there, by golly, you better be able to go. And I don't need a 2-second delay with the car thinking, well, did he press the gas pedal? Oh, he did. Okay, well, I'll start the car now. No.
Yeah, because the situation that you got plenty of time, not plenty of time, but you can safely do it turns into unsafely doing
Correct.
it.
Nothing worse than delay when you're trying to squirt across. It's just
I'm
amazing.
telling you.
I don't like the feature. I turn mine off.
Have you tried
mess with it.
try 1 week living with it not turned off?
I tried to live with it a day. I couldn't take it.
But it's one of those things that I'm just telling you from experience. You have to get used to.
Well, Jeff tried it. He got used to it while it was sitting in the garage. It worked fine. He didn't have a problem with
he's
it.
old school, and I will tell you that there are a lot of things that are old school that I still do. I'm still, even though it's an automatic transmission, I'm still a 2-pedal kind of guy.
Yeah.
Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator pedal. And I know that's not the way the car is set up. It's set up for a right foot on the brake that goes over to the gas pedal, 1 foot driving. And many times that's okay for most people, not for me. I know I'm a more aggressive driver when it comes to that, but when I want the car to go, by golly, I want it to go.
When you drive the Vet, do you lay your left foot on the clutch pedal or you just take it to the side?
No, it's always above the clutch pedal. It never rests on the clutch pedal, but it's there above it. Now, if I'm driving down the freeway and we're in 6th gear, it's over on the dead pedal.
Okay. Just wondered.
Yeah, no, I never. That's one of the first things I learned. You never ride the clutch,
No, that's what I was
unless you want to
asking.
burn it up. Yeah.
Well, it's the throw-out bearing that goes first, and then the clutch.
You mean the squealing throw-out bearing?
That's it.
Yes, I remember them well. I had a '54 Chevrolet pickup truck that had a 4-speed crush box transmission,
Ooh.
where the shifter went right in the top of the transmission. And if you really wanted to shift smoothly, you'd double clutch it.
Oh.
Remember double clutching when they had no synchronizers?
Yep.
But this one didn't. It shifted pretty well. And of course, I took the foot-long shifter and cut it down to about this big. So I
you
had to reach down. Yeah, it's down here at your ankles.
I like it when they're up tall and they got like a skull on them.
Yeah.
And you're driving up
They
here.
put an extension on
Yeah,
them.
like ape hangers when you're driving a motorcycle.
That's
up
right.
Here.
I know it well.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Tony Thacker, for your interview with the Hot Rod Mavericks.
Appreciate the book.
Appreciate the book. Yeah, that's going to sit on there. Yeah, this guy that we had, we were going to interview, but he didn't show up for the interview. Can you imagine doing that to Johnny Carson? I mean, I'm comparing myself to Johnny Carson, but the show, Johnny Carson.
So
Think
you're
that you
Ed
both
McMahon.
you both have gray hair.
You're Ed McMahon, and I'll be the band leader.
Doc Severinsen.
You're Doc.
Yep.
At least you're not Mitch Miller, although you look like Mitch
Yeah,
Miller.
Mitch was cool.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Not from what I read. He was a mean man.
Well,
Who was the other guy that had the champagne bubbles and the
That would be Lawrence Welk.
Lawrence Welk? That's who you are.
okay. Okay.
Just ahead, a review of the 2025 Lexus UX 300 and Jeff's Motor Minute.
Oh, yeah.
Right after this quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
I want to invite you to come along with us on the upcoming Hot Rod Tour of Texas, April 24th through the 27th, beginning in Victoria. We have links to the site on InWheelTime.com and the In Wheel Time Facebook page. Be sure and follow us and join us. It's going to be a fun trip. All right, time now for Jeff's Motor Minute.
Yeah, this is a little different. The car industry is in a state of continuous flux, evolution of new technologies. You've got SUVs, EVs, all-electric hybrids. So what are the most valuable car brands out there? Well, there's 6 of them. I'm going to give you 5, and at the end of the show, I'll give you the number 1. See if anybody wants to guess and call that in.
Okay.
Number 6 is Ford. They are valued at $38.7 billion. Honda is number 5. They're valued at $53.7 billion. General Motors, they're valued at $56.1 billion. Ferrari, they're number 3, $81.9 billion. That's the value of that brand. Number 2 is Toyota. Well, I think Toyota's kind of got Lexus in there too. $304 billion. That's what they're valued at. Now, let us know what the number 1 is. We all know it here, so chime in and I'll tell you at the end of the show.
Okay.
Number 1 is.
There's lots of car makers out there.
Yeah. These are the top. There's actually 8, but 2 of them I didn't recognize because they're European startup companies.
That don't
Those,
belong here.
but these are all just the ones that are, well, Ferrari's not built in the country, though.
No,
I was
these are
gonna
just
say
valuable car brands.
Okay.
Not necessarily,
Not necessarily US.
Right. So let us know what you think the number 1 is.
Time now for this hour's car review. I had the opportunity to drive the 2025 Lexus UX 300H. Okay. Final assembly location is Miyawaka, Fukuoka, Japan.
Can you spell that?
Yep, there you go. F-U-K-U-O-K-A.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yo, mama.
Okay, so that I can only imagine Mars trying to pronounce that.
I was trying to imagine it myself while you were saying it.
The reviewed trim level, it comes in several trim levels, base, premium, and F Sport. I had the F Sport handling package, top of the line. Compact SUV, seats 5. All new for 2024. I never got a chance to drive this. Did you ever drive it before?
No.
I hadn't either.
It's kind of like
so
kind of a secret.
Well, and I didn't really know what to expect. It wasn't an RX, it wasn't an LX or LS or any of those. It's a UX. All new for 2024. Smaller version of the RX with oversized spindle grille, faux brake duct inlets, help quell the big grill kind of. A nicely sculpted fastback rear hatch. Awesome side sculpting helps the UX stand apart from its competitors. Overall design is top-notch. What could use improvement? I got nothing to offer there. Interior highlights, modern dash with optional big screen, which we had the optional big screen. Controls are well placed with easy-to-use features. Seats are extra comfortable with nice side bolstering. Materials, nothing but high-end all the way with attention to detail. The cargo room, small with the second row up, but this is a compact. What I liked about it, the compact design. It puts everything at your fingertips, and it goes through parking lots with a breeze.
Yeah.
What could use improvement? Nothing. Must be nice if you're a car manufacturer to hear that.
Yeah.
What could use improvement?
It's a good-looking
Nothing.
vehicle.
Yeah.
I really did
particularly
like
if you don't have the recalls to contradict it.
Yeah.
Well, there's that too. Yeah. New for 25 is upgraded power system, a 2-liter inline-4 hybrid that turns out 196 horsepower, which is just the right.
It's perfect.
Just the right level for this small of a vehicle. CVT transmission. Get this. miles per gallon in the city. Now, this is a hybrid, so and it's not a plug-in hybrid, so you don't have to do nothing. But you put on the gas and go. 45 miles per gallon in the city.
Nice.
41 on the highway for a combined of 43. I got 40.7.
Wow.
Over 682 miles back and forth to Austin
Yeah.
and then around Houston.
Yeah, it was a good-looking car.
It was comfortable. What I liked about the mileage and the handling and all, everything. Use improvement, I got a question mark here. I don't know what could use improvement. It rides great. I was really surprised because usually when you get in a short wheelbase, it's
Right.
choppy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it rides rough.
Like a funny car.
Yeah, not like this. Ride and handling superb, but could use improvement. Again, nothing. Base trim price, $44,805. Prices tested, $48,200. Loaded up, it was.
That's not bad.
The base model price, $36,540 for a Lexus.
Wow.
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Competitors, Audi Q3 starts at $39,800. The BMW X1 starts at $41,350, and the Mercedes-Benz GLA and also the GLB, $43,000. This one starts at $36,540.
Cool.
I'm impressed. As I told you, I owned a Lexus way back in the day. Back in the 90s, I bought a press car back in
Back
the
in
day.
the disco days.
Yep. Back in the days when you could actually buy a car out of the press fleet. They stopped doing that because some moron ruined it for everybody. But whatever the case may be, I will tell you that I bought it and it had 12,000 miles on it. They were getting ready to get
Try
rid
to
of it.
turn it over, yeah.
And so I said, I want the car. I said, okay, well, here's the prices, no negotiating. I said, I'll take it. Bought it, had it for many years, and loved that car. And it was the original RX body style and all that, the little egg-shaped thing.
Yeah.
What a great vehicle. And I fell in love with the Lexus brand through that. And now, with this one, and taking this on the road to Austin, I want to thank the guy from Lexus that allowed me to do that. It gave me a different sense because I got to spend some highway time with it, which I
Right.
typically don't do.
Right.
I do around Houston, but it's not the same.
Yeah. It's not like having 2 hours
Yeah.
going different roads, going up like to
Yeah,
Austin.
And then the highway, the 35 minutes, whatever, for him on the highway really doesn't.
And that's
give
just
you
in
the-
traffic. Yeah. It makes a big difference.
So it was a great vehicle, and I really appreciate the loan. Thank you, Lexus, once again for coming through. Remember, I took the RX up to the top of Pikes Peak. Mm-hmm. Remind me never to. No, you won't have to remind me. I'll never do that again. Listen, you see those knuckles? They're still white,
they're
aren't
still
they?
white, yeah.
I white knuckled it all the way
Yeah.
up there and all the way down.
So I should give up on trying to get us a remote broadcast.
See, I was
from the
thinking,
top
don't
of
keep
that?
going.
You go
with
right
that.
ahead.
Yeah, go
I'll
for
sit
it.
down at the bottom of the mountain.
He's got
and
a
I'll
chopper. He can
I'll
just
keep.
land
I'll
in.
keep it all. I'll keep it all tuned in for you. You just go up there. Go on. Get up there.
Be gone with you.
Was it 12,000, 14,000 feet?
It was up there.
Yeah.
Well, if I can find us a sponsor, one of these days we're going to do
No,
that.
no. You find yourself a sponsor because I'm not doing it.
We're getting the Legends car, and you're driving it with Rodney.
Pikes Peak?
Anything
yeah,
you
we can
want.
do that.
We
Yeah.
can arrange that. We have connections with the Pikes Peak Hill Climbing. now.
Yeah. We can get it through safety.
I can see. I can see you doing that. Not talk about Chicken Little. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us
I'm
an
a big
email.
chicken.
The address here is
Tastes like chicken.
info@inwheeltime.com. We're back after this quick break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 3rd to the 5th at NRG Center. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience with 1,000 vehicles up for grabs. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. Bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets now at Mecum.com.
This is your place for all things automotive, the award-winning in-wheel time car talk show. Just ahead, we talk to Alex.
That's right.
Go ahead, Mars.
That's his name. Is Alex?
He's laughing.
He's turning red over here, Alex, because I asked him, I said, so how do you pronounce Alex's last name? He says,
Alex.
I don't know. It's the same that we pronounced the last time we talked to him. Okay. Okay, Mars.
Quantum.
What?
Quantum.
Quantum.
That's what I
Just
told
like
you.
it's spelled. That's what I told you.
that.
If I would have said that, it would have been wrong.
Well, let's get him up.
I have a lot of.
I'm used to that. I usually just spell it out for people. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk to you here in just a second, so you just stay right there. Don't touch that dial. Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History. And I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Seekin, our chief engineer, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And I guess we're going to go up to the northeast part of the United States.
Let's do it.
And talk to Alex Quanton. I knew it all along. The U.S. News and World Report, family-friendly car, truck, and SUVs for 2025. And boy, we can all relate. The timing is perfect on this because we got summer vacation coming up, bud.
That's right. Time to pack the kids in the car and go on a road trip.
And did you ever take a road trip with your parents?
I was in a single parent household, but we did take plenty of road trips. I can remember going with Mom out to Pocono Raceway to see Alan Kulwicki and
oh my God, yeah, okay, yeah. We can relate to all
Blast
that.
from the past.
Do they still have NASCAR up there at Pocono?
They do. Dover and Pocono are still there. I'm actually not sure if they're still running Pocono, but I haven't been following as closely as when I was.
That
13.
was always a weird racetrack to me because it was a tri-oval.
Yeah.
An odd-looking, roundy round track that was in a triangle. But great race, always a great race. I'll never forget Richard Petty winning there. I mean, I got a lot of history to it. And the Pocono Mountains. I mean, what a beautiful part of the country. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go out to Lake Popac and yeah.
Are you still up there? Where are you now?
I live in Seattle now, although most of my family live in New York, so I'm kind of
You're in Seattle.
Yeah.
Northeast Seattle.
Yeah, Northeast Seattle. That's it. So, all right. Well, we'll just go with that. What are you laughing at?
Because he just introduced him as being in the Northeast.
At Northeast Seattle.
We all got it, but you.
Can't get his name.
Thank you, Alex, for playing along,
you
buddy.
have to understand. Mars sets me up with this, and I know nothing. He gives me no pronouncers. He gives me no background where you are. Nothing. That's it. You want to know what he sent to me? I will read it to you. Because let's move on.
Let's just move on. Move on.
Okay. So enough infighting. See, this is why the showers are only 2 hours long, because we'll go to Knuckle City here, but after 2 hours, there's that.
Get our mothers involved and all that.
So Alex, when you go and talk to your editor and say, "Yeah, I did this interview with these characters down in Texas. They had me out living up in the Northeast side of Seattle."
It's okay. I'm from the Bronx, so I'm like Rhoda. I'm a fish out of water in Seattle. I'm really a New Yorker who lives in Seattle.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, well.
There you go.
Listen, if we don't have a sense of humor in all this, what do we have, All right, so let's talk about the subject at hand here, and let's talk about road trips and family-friendly car, trucks, and SUVs for 2025.
Yeah, so we're just coming off. Last week, we announced our best cars for families for 2025. We went over 100 different vehicles from 9 different classes, so
Wow.
cars, SUVs, minivans. And to do these, we kind of factor in our overall reviews, but then we kind of want to dive deep on the things that matter to families. So we include safety and reliability data. We do a deep dive on passenger space, on cargo volume, the availability of family-friendly things like teen driver controls, very important. I'm sure my mom wishes she had them. Surround view cameras, Wi-Fi, rear sunshades, reverse automatic braking, all the kinds of things that can help you out. And the winners of these research dives become the winners of these classes. So we have some new people this year, some new winners this year, and we have some familiar winners this year. And I'm happy to take any question on any one of them.
Okay, so all of these are 24 and 25 models that you guys tested?
They're all 25s.
Oh,
They're all 25s. Okay, so there was the defining part of it right there. So a lot of the 25s, I don't know how many, but I would assume quite a few, were also carryovers. So you could find this basically the same vehicle in 25 that you could find in 23.
In many cases, yes. And in fact, some of our repeat winners are vehicles that are very familiar, like the Kia Telluride and the Toyota Highlander Hybrid and the Hyundai Tucson. And they've been winners for at least the last 4 years. Tucson is 4 years. Telluride is 6 years. I think Highlander Hybrid is 6 years. But there are some new ones, like the Mazda CX-70 is out fresh this year.
Yes.
And, last year the Kia EV9 was out, but we didn't really have enough information on it early in the year to really give it a full evaluation. We don't want to put out a recommendation when we haven't really had a chance to fully evaluate it.
Sure.
So this, the Kia EV9 is one of the new winners this year. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's sort of the first accessible, affordable family three-row EV. There are other three-row electric SUVs, but they all cost more than 80 grand. And, it's a struggle to say the EV9 is cheap when it's like $56,000, but it is cheaper than 80.
Well, the CX-70 is basically the CX-90, but the 70 only has 2 rows, where the 90 has 3 rows. So it's basically the same vehicle. My guess is it goes down the same assembly line.
Yeah.
So there are those kind of intricacies about some of the vehicles that most people I don't think really understand or know. But if you're into the CX-70, but you wanted a third row, then you go to the CX-90. It's a pretty easy swap.
Yeah, and the CX-90 scored really well among the three-row SUVs. But the two-row, I think people were a little puzzled when Mazda came out with the CX-70, being like, why have a two-row version of the CX-90? But there are some buyers who only want the two-row, and what you get is you don't spend any of the design space integrating that third row. So you get a huge cargo area.
Correct.
I mean, the cargo is really big.
Yes.
Like we're talking about road trips. Like if you are a family of 4, you can take that CX-70 on a road trip from like LA to Chicago, do the Route 66 or something. Mm-hmm. And you will have room for all the stuff you need. And like without a trailer, without maybe one of those rooftop cargo carriers. And that's really useful. It's also got all the benefits of being designed for that larger footprint in the CX-90, where you get a huge back seat. There's lots of comfort. It's really has a nice interior and lots of features. So it's a great combo. And we thought, there are very few or relatively few two-row midsize SUVs now. Here's an automaker that's making an effort and a really good product in that space.
So let's go down the list. Do you want to start with the family-friendly cars first?
Sure. So we have 2 cars. It is possible to get by with a small car if you're just a family of 3. So we didn't really rank small cars because we want to be able to give recommendations for people with 2 kids or more. The Honda Accord came out the top in the midsize car segment and in the hybrid car segment. And the real reason behind that is it just has a huge amount of room. Among sort of mainstream sedans, it really has one of the largest back seats. I mean, I think the legroom is on par with like the Volvo S90, which is a big, like expensive luxury car. And it's got a huge trunk, 16.7 cubic feet. It's a really easy to use space. You can carry a lot of stuff with you. The doors are really big, so it makes like loading kids in and out very easy. And Honda also bundles a whole lot of safety equipment. Even in the base model Accord, you get adaptive cruise control with lane centering, automatic emergency braking, and the sort of list goes up from there. And if you buy the hybrid, which is, Honda has recently divided the Accord into like the non-hybrid base models and the hybrid high trims. They've done the same with the Civic now. if you buy the hybrid, you not only get the better gas mileage, but you usually also get more features. So more driver assistance features, blind spot monitoring, etc. And there are a lot of good family cars right now. I know that the family car segment has sort of shrunk, but the remaining players are like really, really strong. But on room, it's just really hard to top the equipment.
And you can't also top the reliability of Honda.
Yes. I think, you can get longer warranties, but Honda does have that famous reputation. And, every time I'm in a Honda product, I was just in the Civic Hybrid a couple of weeks ago. They feel really well made. And, I see here in Seattle, the land where Rust forgot, Hondas that are 30, 40 years old being used as daily drivers.
Yes.
So, it's really hard to top.
So
that.
what's the other family-friendly car in that category?
The Toyota Camry Hybrid has been totally redesigned. Well, heavily updated this year. The Camry is hybrid only. We didn't have enough data to fully assess it, and honestly, because the back seat is a little bit smaller and it's a little less convenient, that vehicle did not win one of these awards. But it's still quite a good vehicle. There's also, I would recommend Hyundai Sonata and Kia K5. They're also really good. The Sonata is available as a hybrid, which is also very helpful.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's a good crop that's still there.
Let's talk about trucks. Trucks are big in Texas.
We didn't rank any pickup trucks.
Oh,
No?
uh-oh.
We didn't, although I will say that we have a whole bunch of other awards that we have started including trucks in. We had stopped including them in the best cars for money, and we have started again. If a family's looking for a truck, every full-size pickup truck now comes with a really, really roomy crew cab. You just can't beat them. But I will say I have a soft spot for the Ram 1500. Every
We
time
all
I'm in,
do.
I like how it performs.
Yes.
It's really family friendly. And, some of the time when you need a truck that's just like, brute force, I would have to say the F-150 maybe has an edge there. But if you're driving the car every day and you're not using the truck every day and you're not using the max payload and you're not using the max towing, maybe you only tow 7,000 pounds at a time, like tow your race car or something. The Ram really does have a lot of edges in sort of like driver assistance gear, sort of storage features, which are really important to families. Like you can get the Ram box bed
Yep.
on the Ram,
Yes.
which like you have to bring a bunch of stuff with you and put it out of sight. That's really helpful.
Yeah, including those ice chests on either side of the
Yeah.
bed back there for your beers back there.
That's right.
So, okay, let's talk about, obviously, a very, very crowded SUV market.
Yeah, we went through everything from compact to full size, and I mean fullest full size. The compact SUV that won is the Hyundai Tucson. Really no surprise there. It has a lot of family-friendly features, teen driver controls, lots of driver assistance gear, rear seat reminders, but it really wins on room. It has a huge back seat. I don't know if you guys have been in the Tucson. My in-laws bought a Tucson and they were amazed at how large it is. And I think it's more than 41 inches of rear leg room. So it's, or maybe it's just under 40. And this is basically I think it's 41.3 exactly now that I think about it. That is 0.8 of an inch less than the back seat room or the second row seat room in a Chevy Tahoe, which is a much bigger vehicle. So that's packing a lot of space efficiency into this small footprint. And, if you're bringing stuff with you, and I remember there was a store literally called Bye Bye Baby for all the baby stuff.
Sure, absolutely, yes.
You want that space for a young family. It's really hard to top. It's also a very affordable vehicle, which is very helpful.
Interesting.
At the complete opposite end is the Jeep Wagoneer L. So usually those full-size SUVs like Suburbans and Tahoes, almost all of them come in two sizes. Chevy has cleverly separated them into two completely different names. And of course, the Suburban goes way, way back. The Wagoneer L, we chose to give the L the award specifically because it just about ties the Suburban on cargo space. There's a little less cargo space in the Jeep than in the Suburban, but it has an easier to use third row and it gets better safety scores. And, those things are really important to a family. Like I'm 6'4" and I can fit comfortably in the back of either the Suburban or the Wagoneer L, but I actually prefer being in the way back of the Wagoneer L. It just feels a little more comfortable to me, and it's a little easier to get in and out of it. So, like, if you're hauling a bunch of kids, you want to make it as easy as possible, and the safety scores kind of put it over the top. I think, you know, a lot of consumers may not even realize that Jeep makes an SUV this big because they've been pushing Wagoneer for the last 2-3 years. But, you know, the Ford Expedition and the Chevy Suburban go way back. They have a much more established market presence. Jeep had the Commander back during the Great Recession that kind of didn't go anywhere. But I feel like this is a product maybe people don't know that much about, but it's a very family-friendly machine. And it gets pretty good gas mileage thanks to that Hurricane 6. I mean, no gigantic SUV is going to be a Prius. But if you're looking to save a little bit of fuel, that's one way you could go.
Well, the Wagoneer name goes way back, too. I remember back in the 60s they had the Wagoneer, and it was considered at the time really a luxury SUV because unlike the Suburban, which was a work vehicle pretty much,
Right.
The Wagoneer was the family-friendly, and I remember the wood-clad sides applique down the side of it that didn't last very long, but it served its purpose back in the day, gave it that upscale look.
Yeah, I feel like Jeep has done a good job of honoring that older vehicle. Like, you know, people used to refer to it as the American Range Rover, but it came first. The Range Rover came second.
There you go. And I will say this, that if you really want to do the throwback thing, go to your favorite wrap company and get them to put some wood wrap on the side of it, and you'd be right there back, throwback to the 60s. Okay, so so that's both ends of the spectrum, the Hyundai Tucson and the Jeep Wagoneer. You got anything else that you want to point out for us?
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to touch on the Kia EV9 again. You know, the big 3-row winner is the Telluride for the 6th year in a row. The Telluride is just a juggernaut, and it gets there on having lots of room, lots of features, lots of family convenience features, and great safety scores. The EV9 offers a very similar amount of room, but the energy costs are a lot lower. You will pay more upfront because it's an electric vehicle. But one thing that I know about just about every parent is always looking to save time, particularly if you have multiple kids to take to multiple places, like one kid to take to junior high and one kid to take to elementary school and one kid to take to soccer practice. They're always looking to save time. Now, if you can charge at home, and you buy an EV9, you are saving yourself, 25 to 30 minutes at a clip every time you would have had to go to a gas station. Drive it to school, you drive it home, plug it in the morning, it's ready to go. And I feel like that is a huge time saver. Plus, you get all the sort of normal benefits of the Kia 3-row experience, where there's lots of room, there's lots of features, there's lots of family-friendly driver assist gear. And that really did stand out to us. It won the best electric SUV category by a pretty wide margin in our research.
Alex, with all this information you gave us, what do you drive?
I drive a Buick Regal, and
now you're talking.
I have a Regal, and I have two other classic cars. I have an old '88 Mazda 323 Turbo, and I have a 1986 Skoda 120.
A Skoda.
Came down from Canada. I love my Skoda, and I sold my MGB GT to buy my Skoda, and I actually prefer my Skoda to the MG. Don't tell the MG guys; they'll be really mad. But
I'll tell you what, I will say this, and please don't take offense to this. You guys up there in the northeast part of Seattle are really weird with your Skodas.
We are. I actually did a story on another Skoda in Seattle that's owned by somebody I know for Haggerty a couple of years ago, and so. If you want to look at the history of American Skodas, they were sold here for a little while.
So you could have a club
just
now.
Google Haggerty
The Skoda Club.
There you go. Do you know the Lilienthals?
Do you know the Lilienthals?
I do. Yeah.
Oh my God! There we go. There's the
connection.
Okay, so we have such a great time with them and interviewing them all the time. They also obviously are from the Seattle area, Portland, all that. And I have to tell you. And I've kept watching you doing this interview, and I keep thinking Father Mulcahy, and I'm sure I'm not the first one that has said to you, you look like Father Mulcahy.
I have gotten that from time to time. I did watch MASH as a kid, so I'm prepared for that.
Yeah, well, that is a total compliment, and I appreciate it. And
jocularity.
And we appreciate you spending the time with us today.
One more note, if people want to check these out, they can go to cars.usnews.com. And if you are struggling to make the payments on a brand new one, we actually have the winners from the past 12 or 13 years up on the website. So
Beautiful.
That's good.
Deep research there.
Alex Quanton, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, guys. Take
Thank
care.
you, sir.
You
Thank
did
you.
the same. Yeah. How fun. Okay. You're going to the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Be sure and follow us. The In Wheel Time team will join over 300 other enthusiasts beginning April 24th as we trek across Texas. Get the info link at inwheeltime.com and our In Wheel Time Facebook page. We are back after this quick break.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flameado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Did you just say that? You just said it along? You lip-synced it.
I lip-synced it with you. Yeah, I did.
Jeff doesn't get out much.
It's like when you watch those old dinosaur movies from Japan where the mouth goes and then the dinosaur. You hear the voice
Kung Fu movies.
Yeah, like that.
There's that. Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Time now for Jeff's racing calendar, sponsored by Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge.
NHRA is on this weekend. They are in the Arizona Nationals Firebird Motorsports Park. It's something very cute. I was watching a kind of a replay this morning with Erica Enders. One of their teammates on the crew, they're having their first baby, and they did not know what the baby's gender was. So the reveal for the baby's gender was after she went down the track, she pulled the chutes, and the chutes were the color of what the gender was, which in this case, they were pink chutes. So they're going to have a little girl. I thought that was very cool.
Very clever.
Yeah. NASCAR, the trucks ran last night. I did record it. I didn't see the end of it because we were out doing adult things, but they ran yesterday. Xfinity
we
is
could
on.
go any way with that.
I know. The Xfinity's on today at Homestead, and then the NASCAR, the big boys, are tomorrow. You've got Indy not starting, but Indy will be on today because it's their 2-week turn on that. F1 is the Chinese Grand Prix. That is Sunday. It's the Shanghai International Circuit of Shanghai.
I've been shanghaied before.
We've been shanghaied a lot. 56 laps of just nonstop nonsense. So there you go.
All right. Thank you. This week in auto history, ladies and gentlemen, here he is from Neederville, Texas, Michael Mars.
Michael Boom Boom
Yeah,
Mars.
buddy. We had several things this week that I thought was rather interesting in auto history. March the 16th, the first truck driver's license, the first commercial truck driver's license was issued in the United States. Now, what this did was really the first step in regulating the trucking industry. The idea behind it was to make sure everybody was certified, everybody was properly trained, and the idea to reduce accidents.
And then the first ticket was written the next day.
Yes. This is back during like Prohibition and stuff, whenever they were hijacking trucks and everything. So they had to do something about making things safer.
Are they going to continue that to make sure everybody's safe on the road?
Absolutely.
Okay.
March the 18th, the first Volvo car sold in the United States, and this was important because
Of what year?
1958. March the 18th, 1958. It was a PV444 was the model. Now,
Kinda
this was
looks like
served
a
in
Volkswagen
California.
from the windshield
I'd
back,
drive that.
doesn't it?
That's a cool looking car.
And this particular car, the import that they brought into the United States, had a different motor than the ones that were selling at home because it had twin side draft, 1.5-inch SU carburetors to give it a total of 70 horsepower that they thought they needed in the United States
Hang
because
on
of the
to
roads.
yours.
Tub it out.
So, Volvo's known for its safety and durability, and this is kind of what started all that. Back in March 19th in 1964, Ford introduced the legendary 427 single overhead cam, the SOHC engine known as the Cammer. It was designed to actually dominate NASCAR. That's what they were after, was go out and win NASCAR. Featured hemispherical combustion chambers, so it was a Hemi-headed. It chain drive overhead cams and over 600 horsepower in race trim at that time. However, NASCAR banned it because they couldn't compete with it. It was just so overwhelming they did it. So Ford took the car, then they moved it over to drag racing where the real men race and used it there. And it did really well there, and it's still legendary at the drag strip. March the 20th, 1974, Volkswagen launches the Golf, the MK1. Now, this is the first generation Golf, a front-wheel drive hatchback, and it replaced the Beetle. Now, this was actually what it did. It's the shift from where Volkswagen was going from rear-wheel drive and rear-mounted air-cooled engines to a front-wheel drive with front-mounted water-cooled engines. So this is where they made the shift away from the Volkswagen Beetle, new car, everything. And this is where you also created the high-performance GTI variants came from this. March the 21st, 1983, Chrysler introduces the minivan. Now, this revolutionized the automotive industry by introducing
Lee
a vehicle-
Iacocca.
Yep.
Yes, and it redefined family transportation.
Yes, it
We
did.
still talk about it that way. That if you want to move some people, this is the way to do it. Now, it started with the Caravan and the Plymouth Voyager, had front-wheel drive, and just provided an alternative to a station wagon, sliding doors, fuel efficiency. And again, like you said, Lee Iacocca did this and pushed it out there, and it's still very active today with several different companies making them. March the 19th, 1991, Mazda introduces the rotary-powered RX-7 FD. Now, this was the third generation of the RX-7. It's a lightweight chassis and twin-turbo rotary engine. And this is the one that people now continue to start to build their race cars off. And it's actually developed a cult among of people following that small racing scene. And that's this week in automotive history.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Beautiful.
The RX-7.
Let me do this. Let me give you the Tesla answer. The answer is Tesla. How about that? On the top
What was
six.
the question?
The question was the most valuable car brands. They are valued at $1.27 trillion. So Tesla is the number one valued car brand.
Speaking of Tesla, Tesla has been removed from participating in this week's Vancouver International Auto Show
think?
over safety concerns. The event's executive director says, Eric Nickel said in a statement that the show asked the electric car maker to withdraw because of a primary concern for the safety of workers, attendees, and exhibitors amid public backlash against the brand and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Okay, you want to go there, whatever. They're just so wrong on many levels. The guy builds cars, a very successful car brand. Anyway, just saying.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to not do that story, but this one. Police said an assailant wearing black clothing set fire to 2 Teslas at a Las Vegas showroom in the latest attack against the automaker, following CEO Elon Musk's heightened political activity as an advisor to President Trump. The FBI said it's investigating the attack as a possible act of terrorism, given what appears to be political overtones. The phrase resist was spray painted on the Tesla showroom entrance in red letters, according to police. It's a shame.
Yep.
Please stop.
Yeah.
We don't need all of that. And a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit filed by Stellantis last year against a supplier it accused of holding parts hostage to get price increases. We'll wrap up today's In Real Time Car Talk Show right after this quick break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000 square foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 3rd to the 5th at NRG Center. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience with 1,000 vehicles up for grabs. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, there's something for everyone. Bring home your dream car. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets now at Mecum.com.
Well, that's all for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Be sure and check us out online at InWheelTime.com. We're always looking for new, informative, and fun automotive things. If you have an idea or an event, let us know. Our email is info@InWheelTime.com. When you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the In Wheel Time app. On the road, grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider, including the new SiriusXM podcast channel. And be sure and catch us on the Odyssey radio app. We video stream our live show every Saturday, 10 to noon on Facebook, YouTube, at InWheelTime.com. The In Wheel Time video technical director is We Need More Jeff Zekin. For booking agent, video editor, and people finder, Mike Out of This World Mars, and chief engineer David Ainsley, I'm Don Armstrong. The Hot Rod Tour of Texas starts April 24th in Victoria, and we hope you'll join us, or at least tune in. Details and links at InWheelTime.com. Be safe out there, have a great week, and thanks again for tuning in to In Wheel Time.